Alright, back here working on the mirror here today, boys. Alright, so guess what? We are ready to put in our Romanogi trim pieces. Sometimes people call it molding, sometimes people call it trim. So listen, there's a few things that we need to think about when we go and put this in. If we take a look at our project, this bad boy is almost all the way together. Only thing that is left is to put in these interior moldings. If we take a look, this happens to be our back piece of plywood that we put in. This prevents the mirror from falling out that way. And these pieces of molding right here, which will go in here, will prevent the mirror from falling out this way. So we need the back piece in order to do this next step, and we're going to explain how to do that. So I've made a little furring strip right here. That's the 1/8 of an inch, which is about the thickness of our mirror. And we're going to use this here as a template gauge and guide, so that when we put our trim in, it maintains that it maintains that distance that the mirror is going to be in. Now, the first thing that we need to do, in a perfect world, these pieces of trim right here would all be the same. What do I mean by the same? I mean that the shoulders right here would be the same on this side here as they are right here. And that's in a perfect world. But we don't live in a perfect world. 2020 sucked. 2021's on par to beat it. Take a look at these here. These four are the same as these four. These four are the same as these four. So what we're going to do is we're going to put an X on a certain side. And we're going to say we either want the X to be against our side pieces, or we want our X to face down towards the mirror. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out how we want these. So this is your project, right? So I'll tell you what, why don't you stand right over here so you can pick one out. You aren't going to see every piece of this actual trim. So you will see this shoulder and you will see this shoulder. So it's either going to be, well, do I want my fat shoulder sticking out, or do I want my fat shoulder sticking in? It's up to you. It does not matter to me.
It's the first way.
You like the first way? Okay. It's a good thing I didn't tell him I like the second way better. That's okay. Different strokes for different folks. I like pepperoni pizza. Maybe he likes anchovies. Who knows? All right. So we like this like this. How about we say this? How about we say that the X is going to face the part that we're going to nail into, okay? So you like it like this. You can go with this, or you can go with that. All right, so we're going to go like this. X, 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 X. Okay, so all of those X sides, when we go ahead and we start cutting these and making these, all these X sides are going to face like this. Now we're going to go over how to do this, okay? The first thing that we are going to do when we do these particular pieces is we're going to cut this, all right, a certain way. And we're going to go over how to do that way as soon as we cut into this video here in 1 second. All right, so we're getting ready to cut these bad boys here, and we had talked about the X. The X is going to be facing our inside pieces. And we're going to cut this thing here in 2 stages, okay? And we're going to cut them on 2 different saws. We can cut it on the same saw, just move it around. We have 2 different saws set up. It's going to help us do this. So, when we cut this, we need to think about it like this. We're going to lay everything out right in front of us, okay? We're going to cut this. When we cut this, we're going to have to turn it around, and we're going to have to put the part with the X. The part with the X is going to have to be against the fence. So one cut's going to be on this angle like so. The other cut will be on this angle like so. We are going to cut the left angle first, and then we'll do our right angle second. That's our right angle when it's facing the saw blade, or when it's facing the fence. So I know that I want to do my left one first, so I set it up like this. My X is going to face, I just realized a bunch of these things have X's on the other sides too. So I'm going to erase those. I don't want to be messed up. So my X is facing right here. since I want to cut this side right here first, so as we lay it out, we're going to cut the side to the right of our belly. So we're going to come down here and we're going to put it like so. And we're going to say, you know what? I like the way this looks. I moved it in about 1/2 of an inch or so. And I'm going to draw a line just like this. So it's the other side's in about the same amount. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you how to cut this here in 1 second. All right, so remember we want to cut this piece over here first. Now if you take a look, I've taken a scrap piece of wood, I've put it on here, and I have made a cut down through here. This allows us to have a nice solid back right up to the saw blade. That's going to be very, very, very important so this thing doesn't flop all around. This is a very tricky cut to do, all right? In reality, I would like to cut this by having it turned like this. But it winds up trying to rotate on us, and the kids just really don't do well with that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take this line that I made, and I'm going to put the back side of that line right to this angle right here, like so. I'm then going to take my thumb, and I'm going to press down really good right here while squeezing this back. I know that my saw blade is going to be far enough away from my hand by keeping it over here. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to slowly make my cut. I'm going to let it stop, and then I will move my hand. I want to go slow because look, this thing wants to flip all around on us, and it's possible that it can chip it and snag it. We're going to go slow. These are very tricky to cut. We are starting with our longest side first. That way, if we do mess it up, we can use this piece of trim for our shorter side. We're going to give it a whirl here. Let it come to a complete stop. If you notice, we have a nice, beautiful mitered cut. Let's pan this right back over to here. We want this piece here to be right here. Can you see this? All right. I'm going to hold this like this. I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to push it tight against this over here. I'd like to use a really sharp pen, so I'm going to mark the inside top. So top, inside, back side. That's my very longest point. We're going to go over and cut this on the other saw. So now we're getting ready to go ahead and cut this miter over here. And I know that I want to leave this line. I can always take more later on, but I want to leave this line that's right here when we go ahead and cut this. I've done the same thing on this saw. I've went ahead, I put a scrap piece on, I've cut it. This will allow me to keep this piece here right where I want it. Now, I want this line to be slightly on the inside of this cut. I can always take more off, but I cannot add any more on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to squeeze this very tightly. All right, I am really squeezing with my hand over here and my thumb. I know it's out of the way. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make a nice slow cut. Come to a complete stop, then we can take this out. Let's go see how this fits. Cut, bring it over, and it's just a smidgen too long. As you can see, as I try to bring it in, that's just a little bit more than what I would like. I'm going to double check something here real quick. I'm going to see if it fits over on this side. Oh my goodness, look at that bad boy right there, huh? They say it's better to be lucky than good. That fits in beautiful right there. What a beauty she is. So that's beautiful right there. What we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this second one over here the same way like we did that one. We got lucky. It was a little bit too long for over here. Rather than cutting it, it fit perfect on this side. So grab a piece, bring it over. My X is facing my back. Over here. Make a line, pan it right over here. Put this right here. Bring it over here. it, pick that whole bad boy up, bring it right over here. Looks like we're ready to go ahead and make this cut. Make sure our fingers are nice and far out of the way. I'm gonna move this clamp a little bit, it's in the way for us. Holding this really tight. Same thing on this one right here, it's just a little bit too long. We're gonna go over how to take a smidgen off here in a second. So remember, we want to take a little bit off this. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll bring this down and I can see what I did was I touched one of these saw teeth with the blade right here. I'm gonna hold this, we're gonna take a smidgen off. I do not want to touch the regular blade, that will take too much off. I touched the tooth when I had it down. See if that fits. Bring it over and it's touching about a finger's width away. I like that. This will sneak in very nice. That looks nice and beautiful. We're going to repeat the same thing for these other two pieces. We'll be in great shape. All right, so I went ahead and cut one of our smaller pieces. Same way we started cutting the right side. And then we started by cutting the right side as we lay it out. It's actually the left side when we cut it. And we're gonna see if it fits here. If you notice, I have another little scrap piece down here that I put in this corner to maintain our distance. So I'm gonna take this and put it right like this. And this looks like it fits in really good, but it's having a little bit of trouble sneaking down in this corner. So sometimes what I do is I bring these up together like this. And we will push them down in, just like so. It fits together very nicely. I'm gonna do the same thing up here at the top. I've noticed that this piece over here, oh, never mind, that sneaked in. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut the last piece and we're gonna see how it fits in over here. Now that this corner is in here, feeling pretty good about that. We'll bring this down. Put it up in this corner. See if I can get that in view. Come on, baby. There we go. So we're gonna cut this last piece right here. See how this fits in. I mean, you can just tell how this really makes the project. It fancies it right up. And the best part about this is these are the last pieces that we got to put in until we can stain it, put our glass in, and hang this bad boy up. It's only been a year, for crying out loud. All right, I'm gonna cut that other one. We'll cut back in. All right, we got our last piece right here. We're gonna see how this thing fits in. Turn this a little bit. Seems like it wants to fit in. Let's see. They're always tricky. There's a fine line between too tight, not tight enough, and not fitting in. Sometimes what I'll do too is I'll take these trim pieces, I'll bend it in the middle a little bit. Get that one up. Put this one over here. And watch what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take my fingers right here. I'm just gonna pull out on this a smidgen so we can sneak it down in. Look at that, that's beautiful right there, I'm not gonna lie. Shine like a diamond from a sunken pirate ship. Take this right down here. I'll tell you what. Absolutely, positively gorgeous. That's beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. What a beaut. She is a beaut, Clark. So that's all there is to cutting it. Believe it or not, we cut into this video about 1,000,000 times. It took us probably about 40 minutes to cut it. There was definitely some cuttings. Excuse me. Corona, probably. There was definitely some cutting behind the scenes that we did not get on video. I had to take some of these back to the saw 2, 3, 4 times. Every time I just talk off, just the smallest little bit. Remember, we can always take more off. We cannot put more back on. If we do have gaps in these, it just doesn't look professional. It's not the end of the world. It'd be the end of the world to me, but I mean, it's not the end of the world to you guys. We are definitely trying to practice like we preach with the professionalism and having everything look really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, this is a really nice mirror. Yeah, I feel like something like this would cost a pretty penny at a at a craft fair or something like that. Anyways, next time on our next video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over how to go ahead and mount these in. We're gonna use a minimum amount of brad nails. We're gonna put it in with a 18 gauge brad nailer. Probably gonna use 1-inch nails. If we can find smaller, we're gonna try to use smaller. Just the minimum amount. We are definitely going to be using some glue to help hold these in, because that's what we really want to hold it in. The nails are just gonna hold it, until that glue sets. But I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about this, and I'm really excited this project's almost done, to be honest with you guys. Swimwear.